All right, all the rain in our area has caused some minor flooding, but did you know hurricanes like Lee that just passed can flood the market with water-damaged used cars?
Yeah, Channel 3's Susan Campbell is showing us what to watch out for so you don't get a lemon.
Did you know, even if you're hundreds or thousands of miles away, vehicles that flooded in Florida could end up in your community? And if you end up with a flood-damaged vehicle, you could be in for a lot of costly repairs in the future.
Hurricane Idalia rolled through Florida, leaving behind a path of destruction and cars sitting in salt water.
If an area gets a big flood, they have a lot of cars that were flooded, and they're not going to sell them in that market. They're going to ship it somewhere else, and we could be the recipient of some of those vehicles.
Flood-damaged cars should end up with a branded title that says salvage or flood damage.
If you see a flood designation, you probably want to walk away from the car.
But scammers, according to the Arizona Department of Transportation, can fraudulently remove flood history from vehicle titles. It's called title washing.
The insurer does all the right things. They total the car, they pay out, the states brand the car, and then the car might go to a salvage auction, or it might change hands really fast. And, you know, there are bad guys who go out and buy these cars. They clean them up. You know, they're professionals at doing this. They'll try to dry them out, and then they'll try to sell them as just a clean car.
Carfax's Faisal Hassan says there are 452,000 vehicles on the road right now that have been in floods.
That's a 13% increase, and we're only at the end of August from 2022 when we saw 399,000 cars. And we expect to see an increase when you look at the floods in Vermont, in California, in Florida. We expect in the next couple of months for that number to go up.
So we asked Jim Garnand at High Tech Car Care to show us some easy ways to spot some red flags of flood damage.
The biggest thing is smell. I mean, if the vehicle had water, but it doesn't have water damage, it's usually not going to have any aroma to it. If it was parked somewhere and got flooded, it's usually going to stink like a bad gym locker. If
a vehicle passes the smell test, now you need to use your eyes.
So if you look at where the seat brackets are and stuff, there's a well around there and a nut. It's really almost impossible to clean that all the way clean. So you should see some debris in there. And if the nut looks like, hey, there's been a wrench on it or whatever, the paint is disturbed, they may have taken all the stuff out and cleaned out the interior and put it back together. Almost every car you normally look at, those nuts have never been touched. So if every seat looks like they've had the seats out, yeah, it's good reason to be suspicious.
Then take it to an independent mechanic who can get it up on a lift.
You can look just like in here, all the different places where there could be water and debris stuck.
What would you notice?
Flood vehicle, these cover plates, we'd take those off and we could find leaves and, you know, whatever was floating. For the most part, it's just looking for things that look out of place or abnormal.
This sounds simple, but pick up the floor mats in the car. Look at the carpet and the seats for signs of water lines. I'm Susan Campbell.